Hi there. If you're new to this channel, welcome. And if you're not new to this channel, you might be doing things a little bit different than you recognize. Because a lot of people have been asking me, I noticed in the comments, questions about the family, all the different family members I have. So I decided to take this opportunity to maybe talk about them a little bit. So I'm going to talk about them. And I'm going to put some links to each individual down below. Technology, how wonderful is that? You want to learn about Chadwick? You click down there. You want to learn a little bit more about Abby? You click down there. If you're like me and you don't want to, you don't click on those. Out of sight, out of mind. You want to learn about Aunt Karen? Oh, she's down there. As a matter of fact, I've been trying to get Aunt Karen to come on the episodes with me, a fresh face to join the PV3 Nation, talking about her favorite stuff, but I tell you, I can't get her out of the house. She always tells me I've got everything I need right here, and I can hear the clanking of bottles behind her. They sound mostly empty as she wades through her living room. It kind of reminds me of a story of Karen. On our family vacations together, she had a little bit of an inverse vacation. She was up all night and sleeping during the day. Protected her skin from that blistering sunshine. She didn't see a lot of Mount Rushmore, or any of it, but she did see a lot of that hotel pool. We weren't staying at that hotel. She would climb over the fence. She was younger then, so climbing a fence wasn't too big of a deal for Aunt Karen then. Well, as Aunt Karen would say when the schnapps was flowing, no fence is too high because I'm too spry. She was quite a poet and rhymer when she was hitting the bottle. Chadwick. Let's talk about my brother Chadwick. He was a state champion wrestler. I was never a wrestler, but he would wrestle me a lot. And the amount of times I passed out, difficult to keep track of. At least the doctor says I'll never be able to keep track of him. Good old Chadwick. Chadwick and Prescott. You might be thinking to yourself, who would name their children that? Well, a narcissist would. That's who would do it. I remember on my 4th birthday, Dad taking me aside and saying, my biggest regret is naming you after me and not Chadwick. That was his biggest regret. 4-year-old me thought that was hilarious. Of course, this was before he abandoned the family. So maybe that's taken up the top spot now in his lifetime regrets. Or maybe he's got a new family, like we've heard through the grapevine. A rumor we haven't substantiated yet, but that wily old man, he certainly has it in him. Maybe he had a firstborn son with that family who he named Prescott. Really, that was his biggest regret? Naming me Prescott instead of Chadwick? Not the insider trading, not the manslaughter? Involuntary as it was, he did it. One person you're not going to hear a lot about is my mother. She's a delightful woman who did the best she could raising 2 boys. And for a while there, her 2 sons were extremely successful. But now she's got 1 extremely successful son. And good for her. Something to feel good about. And before having kids, she was a biathlete. Almost made the Olympics 1 year before Dad knocked her up. So no more cross-country skiing and marksmanship for her. Though she would always get out her gun. To remind Dad, she could hit a bullseye 100 meters away while skiing downhill. Unfortunately for her, he went over 1,000 miles away. So, out of range, out of sight, out of mind, out of range, but still in our hearts. The deeply pitted, wounded parts of our hearts. And when you think of family, we all think of caregivers, or at least I do. Brings me to Mr. Schultz. Oh, he was an old world soul, always rolling his own cigarettes and his own cigars. I'd never seen that before, man rolling his own cigars. Those things were huge. In fact, he kind of asked me to help him numerous occasions rolling them up. He said I had small rodent-like fingers to tuck the cigars together. So, I did a good job of making those cigars nice and tight. Of course, the ones I was rolling was the cigarillos, the tiny ones. I thought they were for him, but I also thought it was odd that I was rolling 30 of those a day. Can you smoke 30 cigars in a day? I don't know. He was constantly switching out what I was putting in the cigars, so I never knew what was going in one week to the next. Thursday afternoons, boy, a lot of knocks on the door. Tell you that. Looking back now, it didn't seem odd that so many college-age kids were buying homemade cigars, but I think a little bit of fresh perspective, I get it. But it gave me a work ethic, and for that I appreciate you. I wasn't the most popular kid in middle school, or high school, or college, but I did roll the best joints. And all my acquaintances seemed to love Mr. Schultz quite a bit. Just could never grasp onto the friendship with them. Didn't translate over. Herr Schultz, had his own little following. Ah, Nana, the original booze hound, matriarch of the family, really tied it all together for us. I was able to sip on her drinks all through childhood, really broadened my palate and my depth perception. I think that's where I got my broadened palate. I was always able to taste a variety of drinks from Nana. She had a very subtle palate herself. Was able to tell you if a puddle of rainwater was 1 day old or 2. A real country girl, or as they call them, country gal. Her father taught her everything she knew about bootlegging moonshine. And as she said, a moonshine fire burns the cleanest. Still haven't used that piece of wisdom yet in my life, but it's still good to know. It's right in the back there. You know, I always thought Nana was really intense. She had this look that she would be giving you, you know? Came to find out she was just kind of staring. But after 60 years of two-fisting her special lemonade, well, that was to be expected. Phoebe. Even just saying the name makes me want to gag a little. Or just punch a wall. No, I would never do that. She does. Seen many a hole in her apartment walls. Many a bruised knuckle. Some people, you know, they just don't have an off switch, and that's Phoebe. And her setting was high. High and caustic. Every time it looked like we were gonna get an off switch, a little bit of whiskey would top off old Phoebe's and boom! Right back at it. You know, Phoebe also has a tumultuous relationship with her family. Maybe in another life, her and I would have been friends. But unfortunately, she's friends with Abby. So, not ever gonna be my friend. You know, we've said a few things about Phoebe in the past, and I'm saying them now, but we should also be pretty thankful for her. Without her, I wouldn't have fallen into a spiral of self-doubt and discovery and met you fine folks. So, I would like to take this opportunity to thank you specifically, Phoebe. Your determination in sabotaging my marriage was successful and brought me here. So, cheers. Cheers to you in whatever hotel lobby bar you're destroying. Abby. Yeah. No, good person. There's some trust issues in there, compatibility stuff. I would work it out, you know, if she wanted to, put in the work. You know, she doesn't want to, as of now. So, it's on hold. I mean, I say it's on hold. She says it's dead. I say it's on life support. She said I cremated it. Potato, patata. Abby, my ex-wife, what a gal. Oh, a heartbreaker. So if you like me talking about my family, you know, let me know. I can do more of these. I can do these all day. I've got a lot to say about these folks. And I'm sure they have things to say about me, but they don't have PV3 Nation, do they? This guy does. Together, you and I, we're unstoppable. Don't forget it. You and me. We got this. We're gonna make stuff happen. We're gonna make big stuff happen. You and me. I believe in you. And I know you believe in me. I know it, because I can feel it. Deep down. And we're gonna get Aunt Karen on the show. We will do it. If I have to drag her out of that penthouse myself. If we hit 200K subscribers, I will shoot an episode in Aunt Karen's house. Hopefully she'll be wearing a bathrobe. She might be yelling at me through the whole thing, but that could be its own form of entertainment too. I don't want you to think of this as a desperate move on my part. It's not desperate. It's for us.